yourself for that, please do. I know it's kind of a hard space to leave, but if you can, please do. On Monday, February 8, 2016, 23-year-old Marshawn McCarroll II died by suicide outside the Ohio State House. Another story of a black man dying by suicide hurts for many reasons. It tells us that our communities are neglected by the mental health sector while we are statistically the ones that need the most help. What struck me and many others is hard about Marshawn's story is that Marshawn is a Black Lives Matter activist through and through. Like many of us, Marshawn was deeply committed to the movement. I want you to think back at moments where reading the news was too painful, where finishing daily tasks too hard because your mind was dissecting how yet again the lives of our beloved black family could be senselessly taken by an institution built on oppression. Activism demands that we relive our experience, our pain, and our trauma. And it's time to see it as that. It's an act that is both liberating and emotionally draining. What Marshawn and many of us have experienced is activist burnout. It's considered a common long-term effect that activism has on an individual's mental health. Often, there's guilt associated with pulling away from our activism, am I right?
Yeah.
And this talk was not a call to tell folks how to self-care because it looks differently for us all. What I and this community need is to self-reflect, to build a deeper understanding of when it's time to step away in the name of self-preservation. Ask what aspects of your life have been put on the back burner in the name of your activism, and commit to reintegrating them. I'm not asking or saying it even makes sense to go home and meditate. That's a really cliche way of taking care of yourself. I mean, it's valid, but it's cliche. Self-care looks like choosing not to engage in a conversation about your activism simply because you need to retain your energy for yourself. It looks like refusing to engage in conversations with anyone about the senseless killing of your people unless the conversation starts with, how are you feeling today? I want to be clear. Our inability to self-preserve is not our fault, and many who experience mental illness, it's not an immediate option. In this message to black folks in this group, and by message to take care of yourselves, to step away in the name of self-love, is accompanied with a call to our friends practicing allyship to call out mental health services, to call out fellow non-black people and to carve a space for race to take place at mental health system levels across the country. Mental health promotion, stigma reduction, and increased access to services continues to center the white teenager as the recipient of care and work to hire. African and Caribbean youth remain statistically overrepresented in the number of young people that experience mental health challenges across Canada, and we cannot forget how staggeringly more drastic this gets when we take into consideration intersecting identities. Consider the intersections of queer, trans, newcomer, and many other marginalized groups that black people are a part of. Mental health services continue to disregard the need for anti-oppressive structures to support the elimination of barriers that black youth face to accessing care. I have too many friends who refuse to seek counseling because their experience with white counselors has been invalidated and oppressive. That is not okay. The fact of the matter is, black youth are still siloed from the discussion of mental health, and these services continue to fail us. You cannot call yourself an ally unless you value our health as much as you extract our intellectual labor. Ask us how we feel, care about how we feel. Fight against a mental health system that cares, that does not care about us. Activist burnout theory has historically been concerned with the outcome of reintegrating activists into their work. But when you think about it, is taking care of ourselves, our own mental health, not an act of rebellion to the very system of oppression that we fight to dismantle? Racism fights to destroy us. Self-love is not a rejection of the movement, it is the movement. Racism fights to destroy us. Self-love is not a rejection of the movement, it is the movement. Before I leave this stage, I'd like for us to take a moment of silence and remember the precious life of Marshawn McCarroll and the countless other black lives taken by suicide, by a system that continues to fail us, and by a fight that can feel like it's nowhere near ending. Please join me.
Black. Oh.
take up space here. Have a lovely night.